You don't have a voice here, my sister said quietly, leaning across the courtroom table. You never did. The judge looked down at the file, paused, and asked a question that made her hand start to shake. That was the moment I realized my silence had trained them to be cruel, and that it was finally over. I didn't answer her. I kept my eyes on the floor, the same way I had for years. People mistake stillness for weakness. They think silence means agreement. I had learned that lesson too late, but not too late to survive it. Only later would I understand how carefully they'd built their confidence on my restraint, and how quickly it would collapse when the truth was forced into the light. I'm 41 years old. I work as a senior procurement analyst for a renewable energy firm in Vancouver. I've been there for 11 years. It's a quiet job. Data, contracts, risk assessments, long meetings where nothing dramatic happens. I liked it that way. I liked being invisible. My family and I had been bound together for nearly a decade after my divorce. I moved back closer to them, not into their home, but near enough to be available. That was the word they used. Available. To help. To advise. To cover gaps. At first, it felt like belonging. My mother had passed years earlier. My father followed not long after. My older sister, Nadia, naturally assumed leadership. She was confident, charismatic, and exhausted by responsibility. Or so she said. My younger brother deferred to her. Everyone did. Including me. I never argued when she spoke over me. Never corrected her when she misrepresented my input. Never objected when decisions were announced as collective, even if I'd only heard about them afterward. I told myself it wasn't worth the tension. That peace mattered more than recognition. The distance grew quietly. Group messages answered without my name mentioned. Family meetings scheduled when I was too busy. Documents forwarded late, with apologies that felt rehearsed. I started noticing my role wasn't shrinking, it was being erased. The betrayal didn't arrive with shouting. It arrived with paperwork. My father had left behind a modest portfolio of land leases, nothing glamorous, but valuable long-term. Years ago, I'd helped structure them, negotiated renewals, flagged risks. I knew those contracts better than anyone. When I asked about a renewal I hadn't seen, Nadia smiled. We took care of it, she said. You worry too much. A month later, I learned one of the leases had been reassigned. Not renewed. Reassigned, to a holding company I didn't recognize. I asked questions. Carefully. Casually. You're overthinking, my brother said. You always do that. I asked again, this time directly. Nadia's tone cooled. This isn't your area anymore, she said. You stepped back, remember? I hadn't stepped back. I'd been pushed aside. The story they told others was simple. I was burned out. Disengaged. Too emotional after the divorce to be trusted with responsibility. They said it kindly, with concern in their voices. People believed them. It explained my absence neatly. The humiliation came during a family gathering. An anniversary dinner. Wine flowing. Laughter loud enough to drown discomfort. Nadia raised a glass and thanked everyone for holding things together when some of us couldn't. She looked at me when she said it. I smiled. I always smiled. Later that night, she pulled me aside. You should let this go, she said. You're not built for leadership. You never were. I asked her why she'd reassigned the lease. She didn't hesitate. Because you don't matter in these decisions, she said. You were convenient. That's all. It felt like something dropped out of me. Not heartbreak. Something duller. Heavier. When I pushed back, when I asked for documentation, they accused me of paranoia. Of destabilizing the family. Of trying to control what wasn't mine. Then came the legal notice. They were petitioning to formalize ownership. To consolidate assets for efficiency. My name was mentioned only as a beneficiary, with no authority, no control. A signature line was included for me to waive objections. I didn't sign. The confrontation happened in mediation. A narrow room. Stale air. Nadia across from me, hands folded like she was bored. You're making this ugly, she said. I never loved dealing with you anyway. You complicate everything. I told her I wanted transparency. She leaned back. Your feelings don't matter to me, she said calmly. This is about what's practical. That sentence followed me home. Echoed off walls. Sat beside me while I ate alone. That night, I broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. I sat on my kitchen floor and realized I didn't know who I was without being useful. Without being quiet. Without being the reasonable one who swallowed discomfort to keep everyone else comfortable. I had mistaken endurance for strength. Something shifted then. Not courage. Clarity. I stopped explaining. Stopped justifying. I gathered records. Old emails. Notes. Contract drafts. I remembered every meeting I'd been in, every decision I'd flagged and they'd ignored. I hired a lawyer. Not aggressive. Precise. The case moved to court. They arrived confident. Nadia in a tailored jacket. My brother beside her, silent. Their attorney spoke about unity. About efficiency. About how my withdrawal had forced them to act. When it was my turn, I didn't tell a story. I presented facts. The judge asked questions. Simple ones. Who negotiated the leases? Who flagged the reassignment risks? Who managed compliance during renewals? The answers were documented. My silence had allowed them to speak for me. The records did not. The moment came quietly. The judge adjusted his glasses and looked at Nadia. Can you explain why these assets were transferred without the consent of the individual who holds operational authority? Her mouth opened. Closed. She tried to speak. Stopped. For the first time, she looked unsure. The ruling wasn't explosive. It was surgical. Transfers reversed. Authority clarified. Claims of disengagement dismissed. I didn't look at my family when it happened. I didn't need to. Outside the courtroom, Nadia approached me. Her voice was low. You blindsided us, she said. I shook my head. You trained me to be invisible, I said. I just stopped cooperating. I walked away. The resolution wasn't triumphant. It was quiet. Lonely. Necessary. We don't speak much now. Some messages. Formal. Distant. My life didn't change overnight. I still work the same job. Live in the same apartment. But something fundamental is different. I speak now. Not loudly. Clearly. I've learned that silence can be a strategy, but only if it's chosen. When it's imposed, it becomes permission. If there's a lesson here, it's not about courtrooms or money. It's about boundaries. About recognizing when your restraint is being used against you. About understanding that people will build confidence on your compliance and call you weak when you stop giving it. You don't owe anyone access to your quiet. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let the truth speak where you no longer will.